Undungeon is an isometric action RPG with a deep sci-fi story and gorgeous pixel art. You play a herald, an immortal being created by a god for the sole purpose of reconstructing the multiverse. In a cataclysmic event known as the Shift, multiple dimensions were blended together, creating chaos and threatening the existence of life on all versions of Earth. As the Herald Void, you try to restore order and save the doomed multiverse. The gameplay loop is identical in both dimensions you visit. You need to activate 7 interdimensional piers by combining them with their cores that are scattered across the map. In order to find these cores, you ask the locals for directions, but obviously they want you to help them first. So you can either take on these side quests and rescue their friends, fetch ingredients and find lost pets, or ignore their petty model issues and travel around the map to find the cores yourself. Once you've discovered the core's location, you need to defeat a group of core defenders before activating the pier, expanding the map and doing it all over again. Combat is a mix of melee and ranged attacks. Your equipment consists of claws for attacking, breastplates for blocking, and masks that allow you to dash. Each item comes with a normal and a charged attack. For example, there's a dash ability that leaves a chain of mines behind, or a strong shield that blocks 3 attacks. While normal attacks and dashes drain stamina, there's a separate indicator for empowered attacks you need to pay attention to. In addition to equipment, there are also 3 item categories: throwable weapons, explosives, and consumables. Each offensive item comes with different powers, debuffs, and attack patterns, and consumables have an interesting mechanic. Whenever you deploy a healing or buff item, whoever attacks it first gains the effect. This leads to hilarious situations where the enemy runs away, desperately trying to heal, only for you to snatch it away from them. It also leads to frustration though, because your companions take way too long to even recognize these items. 1 item of each category can be tied to a key, and whenever you need to swap them, you can activate a tactical pause. With the amount of different items in the game, this quickly gets cluttered and interrupts the flow of the fights. Apart from that, combat is very fluid and fun, but it does get repetitive after a while. I never felt the need to swap the equipment I got quite early on in the game. Thanks to the ability to dash and a breastplate that deflects 3 attacks, I hardly ever felt like I couldn't handle a fight. With other equipment, it's a different story though. Whenever an enemy successfully hits you, a star appears over their head, indicating that their damage is increased by 100%. This can stack up to 5 times to 500%, which makes blocking and dodging essential. With this mechanic and the unique usage of consumables, Undungeon provides some fresh ideas, another one being organ transplantation. Depending on how you kill the enemies, they might drop different organs you can implant into the body of your herald. Craft new eyes, hearts, brains and legs to boost your attributes and gain passive abilities. The most important organ is the herald's core. Each core comes with a passive bonus and allows you to add different runes and nodes to further customize your build. You can boost base stats and increase the chance of effects like burning, receiving a shield, or summoning a creature. The amount of knives, bombs, consumables, gear, organs, cores and runes you can find, craft and buy might be overwhelming at times, but it allows you to customize the herald to fit your preferred playstyle. Undungeon is a very text-heavy game with rich lore and interesting characters. It's obvious how much time the developers spent on the story and world building. And while it is a bit confusing and overwhelming in the beginning, it's always interesting to talk to people and try to piece it all together. While the fate of the multiverse rests on your shoulders, it's not all about the bigger picture. By helping locals, you not only gain intel and karma points, but also shape their fates. Your choices have consequences that you either see immediately or later in the game. I might have forgotten to help a tribe overrun by monsters, so maybe it was my fault they had to relocate. But hey, I was busy looking for that core. I just recently found out about this game, but there are people who backed it on Kickstarter in 2017. Back then it was supposed to be a massive game with 7 biomes and 7 heralds, each with an exclusive playstyle. Now the game is still pretty long, but there are just 2 dimensions and 2 heralds, Void and Murdoch, who is a ranged-based herald that needs to be unlocked first. Looking at the old reveal trailer, it's obvious why some backers are disappointed. So many beautiful areas, fun characters, unique enemies and interesting concepts have been cut. It was a fascinating vision, but also one that was way too ambitious. Ultimately, the developers decided to focus on less content to ensure that the game would be a polished experience. I hardly ran into any bugs. I only got stuck in a terrain once and experienced the lag every time I visited a mirror to save the game. Apart from that, the loading screens are too frequent, there's just 1 save slot, character animations leave a bit to be desired, and both biomes and enemies get repetitive after a while. Still, with its unique mechanics, interesting story, beautiful pixel art, atmospheric soundtrack and plenty of customization, Undungeon is worth checking out. Thank you very much for watching, like and subscribe if you enjoyed this, and feel free to share your thoughts in the comments below.